Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I am Anil Thomas. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. Lok Sabha Secretariat suspends 8 security personnel for security lapses in Parliament security breach incident. Committee set up to probe holds crucial meet. EU leaders head into a high-stake summit for Ukraine on Thursday. EU budget chief sees deals on 50 billion euros. Hungary blocks both the start of EU membership talks and aid. Netanyahu promises to continue the offensive until victory is achieved despite international pressure. US, Britain impose more sanctions on Hamas officials. Fed's dovish pivot sparks early Santa Claus rally. Sensex Nifty rule record highs. The Lok Sabha Secretariat has suspended 8 personnel for the security breach in Parliament. A major security breach took place inside the Lok Sabha when 2 intruders entered the House chambers from the visitors' galley during 0 hour on the 22nd anniversary of the Parliament terror attack. According to the police, 6 persons have been identified for planning the incident, who all have been booked under anti-terror law, that's UAPA. Meanwhile, a committee headed by CRPF DG, including members from other security agencies and experts, have begun its probe. The committee is investigating the reason for the breach in security, identify lapses and recommend further action. As of now, heavy security has been deployed in and around Parliament. Well, pandemonium rocked both houses of Parliament in view of the security breach incident, with opposition leaders demanding a statement from the Home Minister. The lower house was adjourned till 2 p.m. amid sloganeering by opposition MPs. Speaker of the lower house, Om Birla, said everyone is concerned about what happened in the house. However, the security of the house is the responsibility of the Lok Sabha Secretariat. On the issue, India's Defence Minister Rajnath Singh assured the House that all precautions possible will be taken in future.
बहुत ही दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण घटना है, इसमें कहीं दो मत नहीं है और आपने तुरंत इसका संज्ञान लेते हुए इस मामले की पूरी जांच का जो है आदेश दे दिया है। मैं समझता हूं कि भविष्य में हम सारे सांसद, चाहे वो पक्ष के हों अथवा प्रतिपक्ष के हों, सभी को सावधानी बरतने की आवश्यकता है ताकि जिनको भी हम पास देते हैं ऐसे व्यक्ति को पास न दिया जाए जो जाकर इस प्रकार की अराजक स्थिति संसद भवन के अंदर पैदा कर दे। यह हम सभी को, केवल सत्ता पक्ष ही नहीं बल्कि दूसरे पक्ष के लोगों को भी यह सावधानी बरतने की जरूरत है।
Well, meanwhile, the upper house, that's Rajya Sabha, was adjourned till 12 noon on the matter.
Of the opposition and floor leaders to see me in my chamber at 11:30. In my chamber at 11.
Well, both houses of Parliament there demanding answers on the security breach, and more updates on that story. Vikas Sarthi joining us. Vikas, good afternoon. How does one take a look at day 9 of Parliament session? The security breach still continues to be the hot topic for the opposition, trying to get answers from the government.
Right, Anil. So, issue in both the houses was raised by opposition MPs, particularly in the Lok Sabha. We heard sloganeering from opposition MPs demanding an answer from the government. But Speaker made it very clear that it is not an issue which should be raised on political lines. Speaker, in fact, reiterated before the Member of Parliament that it is the Lok Sabha Secretariat or the Parliament Secretariat who is responsible for the security arrangements inside the complex. So it is wrong to make it a political issue. He said that he is equally concerned about yesterday's incident, and an investigation has already been ordered. There are 2 aspects of this investigation. First is the investigation which is being done by the DG CRPF on the security lapses, and yesterday also Lok Sabha Speaker convened an all-party meet where MPs gave their suggestions on improving the security within the premises, and some of the MPs raised the issue that a huge number of passes are being given by the member of parliaments, and you just heard that Defense Minister also raised this issue that MP should also be aware that who they are recommending for entry in the parliament premises. We need to be more concerned about that, who are getting passes, and to ensure that in the future there must be some kind of regulation and some kind of restraint as well for MPs to not give pass to anybody in a manner which he thought that these two people were given passes by an MP, and these things are also discussed during the all-party meet. Today, both houses disrupted over this issue, and in the Rajya Sabha, as you just mentioned, a meeting was convened by the chairman at 11:30. We will be able to know what was the outcome of that meeting, whether opposition MPs are agree for the investigation which has already been ordered by the Lok Sabha Speaker, and it is still underway.
Okay. Also, a quick update with regards to Delhi police senior officials. You know, they meeting the parliament security officers. Is that taking place currently? One. And secondly, is the opposition only demanding an answer from the Home Minister, or is there something more to their demand?
Right, Anil. So that communication or that kind of answering was started yesterday itself. We saw that senior officials of Delhi police arrived at Parliament complex, and in fact they have questioned the security personnel which were positioned inside the house, that how did this incident took place, and certainly after getting an idea of how this security system works, an initial inquiry has indicted 6 security personnel of Parliament security, and they have been suspended. As of now, though, detailed report will be out once the investigation is complete. So the exercise was started itself, Anil.
Okay, we'll leave it there. Thank you. Appreciate you joining us this afternoon on DD India Live. Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla has expressed his concern over yesterday's security breach incident at the Parliament. He said that a thorough investigation along with discussions into the incident will be launched.
माननीय सदस्यगण, जो कल घटना घटी है उस घटना को लेकर हम सब चिंतित हैं और संसद की सुरक्षा की जिम्मेदारी संसद सचिवालय की होती है और हम सब जानते हैं ये सब संसद सचिवालय और क्षेत्राधिकार संसद के अंदर आता है, विशेष रूप से लोकसभा के अंदर आता है। और इसीलिए मैंने आपसे कल चर्चा की है, संवाद किया है, फिर हम चर्चा करेंगे, आप लोगों सबको बुलाकर चर्चा करेंगे। सारी सुरक्षा की जिम्मेदारी और क्षेत्राधिकार लोकसभा सचिवालय का है और इसीलिए लोकसभा सचिवालय फिर आपसे चर्चा करेगा।
Well, the UN Global Refugee Forum is underway in Geneva. The largest international conference on refugee issues seeks to focus the international discussions on solutions rather than crisis. Being held from the 13th to the 15th of December, it aims to focus on a range of issues on finding solutions to the plight of refugees and to support the objectives of the Global Compact of Refugees. During the forum, 32 UN organizations along with 49 UN country teams will sign up the UN Common Pledge 2.0, committing to support refugee hosting countries with the inclusion of refugees in national plans, budgets and service delivery systems. Meanwhile, intergovernmental negotiations on the Security Council reforms are underway in UN, participating in which permanent representative of India to the United Nations, Ruchira Kamboj, said multilateral institutions rarely die, they simply fade into irrelevance.
Conversations on convergence and divergence alone can only lead us so far. As diplomats, we know that countries do not change positions unless in a negotiating mode where we create possibilities of real and meaningful exchanges. Let me remind all of you that the Summit of the Future, unlike the intergovernmental negotiations, is actually an intergovernmental negotiating process. We need to get real. India, as the world's largest democracy, will continue to strive for the voice of the global south to be heard on the urgency of immediate action in this regard.
Now a success story from Viksit Bharat. A 27-year-old woman from Devanhalli used Mudra loan to start a beauty parlor, creating employment not only for herself but also for others. Her inspiring journey exemplifies the success of the Mudra scheme in empowering entrepreneurs. Let's take a look at this report by DD India correspondent Aisha Khanna.
The government's attempt to see to that the welfare schemes reach the saturation point for the people and people get the benefits of the scheme is seeing success in many far-flung villages during the Viksit Bharat Sankalp Yatra in Karnataka. And in a place like Devanhalli, which is far away from Bangalore city town, which is a rural Bangalore, we see a success story like that of Sujata. Sujata tells us how she started with a small loan of 50,000 rupees under Mudra Yojana, and then successfully, slowly she converted that into 1 lakh, 2 lakh, and then 5 lakh. And with this, she started this beauty parlor where she has employed people, and then she expanded her business. She started a boutique of her own and also generated employment, and she has employed 2 people. So for Sujata, this is not just about earning and not just about profit of her business. She says that this is important as it gives her the feeling of independence. It gives her the feeling of financial independence and empowerment. And this is what the government is talking about. The government is talking about empowering the women. And that's where Sujata is thankful to the center and Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Sujata, ಏನು ಹೇಳಕ್ಕೆ ಇಚ್ಛಪಡ್ತೀರಾ? Prime Minister ಈ ಥರ ಇನಿಷಿಯೇಟಿವ್ಸ್ ತಗೊಂಡಿದ್ದಾರಲ್ಲ?
ಮ್ಯಾಮ್, ಎಸ್ಪೆಷಲಿ ಮೋದಿ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ನಮ್ಮ ತುಂಬ ಹೃದಯದ ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು ಹೇಳಕ್ಕೆ ಇಷ್ಟಪಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ನಮಗೆ ಅಂತ ಅಲ್ಲ, ತುಂಬ ಹೆಣ್ಮಕ್ಳಿಗೆ ಅವರು ಒಂದು ಬೆಂಬಲವಾಗಿ ನಿಂತ್ಕೊಂಡು.
So those are the dreams that Sujata is sharing with us. She has a dream to expand her tailoring unit and start a fashion designing center as well. So look at her confidence and the fact that she utilized the benefit extended out by the center, and she says this has made her financially independent, and she wishes that this success story is carried to other places and more women hear such stories so that they are encouraged to lead a successful life and utilize the center's scheme in a better way. With cameraman Yusuf, Asha Khanam, DD India, Devanhalli.
Well, let's take a look at some other stories making news today. Viksit Bharat Sankalp Yatra reached Devaria district of Uttar Pradesh. The Information Education and Communication Van, or the IEC van, travelled in the area. The Yatra witnessed an enthusiastic welcome by the local people. The objective of this Yatra is to provide benefits to all the eligible beneficiaries of central schemes and to make the common man aware of the development activities in the country through innovative schemes. Indian Army rescued more than 800 tourists stranded due to snowfall and inclement weather in the Himalayan state of Sikkim of India. The rescue mission was conducted by the Tri-Shakti Corps of the Indian Army. All stranded tourists were moved to safer areas and provided with shelter, warm clothing, medical and hot meals. As a part of the regional deployment in the Indo-Pacific, INS Kadmant, Indian Navy's Kamotra-class anti-submarine warfare corvette arrived in Manila in Philippines. A wide range of engagements between personnel of both the navies planned during the port call, including the professional interactions. INS Kadmant is an indigenously designed and built anti-submarine warfare corvette equipped with the state-of-the-art anti-submarine weapon suit. With the onset of the winter season, the Pobitoro Wildlife Sanctuary in northeastern state of Assam is witnessing a surge in migratory bird footfall. The Wildlife Sanctuary authorities expect that this year more migratory bird species will arrive as compared to the previous year. After flying thousands of miles from Europe, America and Africa, thousands of migratory birds have now arrived at the Wildlife Sanctuary in Assam. Still to come on this edition of DD India Live. No evidence, but US Republicans approve Biden impeachment inquiry. Migratory bird footfall witnessed in the northeastern Indian state of Assam due to the onset of winter. India take on Germany in the semi-finals of the Junior Men's Hockey World Cup.
India that invents. India that innovates. India that excites. India that invites. Land of possibility. Teeming with opportunities. Watch India Ideas each Thursday, 8 p.m. only on DD India.
You're watching DD India Live. I'm Anil Thomas. Moving forward to international stories, European Union heads of state are set to meet in Brussels for a showdown summit on the bloc's future support for Ukraine. Hungary has threatened to veto new aid, money and block the start of membership talks with Kyiv, leading to frantic negotiations among EU members. Alex Kadia has more from Brussels.
EU leaders will meet here on Thursday in the hope of signing off more than $50 billion of aid for Ukraine. The 27 heads of state will also discuss starting long-awaited accession talks with Kyiv, a process that would put the country firmly on a path to membership. 26 member states support both measures. One doesn't. Hungary's Prime Minister Viktor Orban has threatened to veto the proposals, saying Ukraine is too corrupt and simply not ready to join the European Union. The Hungarian leader also said that Ukraine's vast agricultural sector could threaten the EU's common agricultural policy and eventually hurt European farmers. Despite attempts by European leaders to convince Hungary to lift its objections, Budapest still won't budge. French President Emmanuel Macron even invited his Hungarian counterpart for dinner at the Élysée Palace in Paris to try and change his position. One thing that could convince Hungary is money. A year ago, the European Commission froze more than $23 billion in EU funds for Hungary over concerns about democratic and rule of law backsliding under the Orban administration. On Wednesday, the European Commission unblocked nearly half of that money. Budapest says this isn't enough and that all the money should be unfrozen before it considers lifting its veto. As the leaders head to Brussels, breaking that deadlock and unlocking more support for Ukraine will be the top priority. Alex Kadia in Brussels, reporting for DD India.
Well, reacting on Hungarian stand, Ukrainian president said Prime Minister Viktor Orban has no reason to block Ukraine's EU membership.
Has no any reasons to block Ukrainian membership in EU.
Volodymyr Zelensky is on a visit to Norway for talks with Nordic country leaders on more help to Ukraine. Also said that the battlefield operations were always slowing in winter season. At a joint news conference with Nordic leaders following meetings in Oslo, Denmark's Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen said her government will present a new support package for Ukraine worth €1 billion to Parliament today.
We will present a new military donation package to the Danish Parliament. The package will be of almost €1 billion. If approved, it will include some of the things that Ukraine needs right now, like ammunition, tanks, drones and other equipment important for the ongoing fight.
Shifting focus to Israel-Hamas armed conflict now, Israel continues its bombing on Gaza on Thursday as rift grows with the US over Washington's call to exercise restraint. US National Security Advisor Jack Sullivan is traveling to Israel for talks with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and his war cabinet. DD India's Kate Fisher has more from Washington.
The White House is having to tread a really fine line here. They're trying to square those comments that President Biden made about this indiscriminate bombing. That's what he described it as. as well as saying that they do believe that Israel is trying to limit civilian casualties. But certainly Joe Biden's comments represent a real shift in tone from this steadfast support of Israel to something a little bit more nebulous. And it's amid these first notes of discord that Jake Sullivan, the national security advisor, is heading to Israel for these meetings with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, with President Isaac Herzog and the Israeli War Cabinet. And his message, the White House says, will be one of trying to work out the next phase of this military campaign and ensuring that it is more surgical and precise to reduce harm to civilians. So that really is the message from the US to Israel as Jake Sullivan heads there for these very important meetings. Kate Fisher in Washington reporting for DD India.
As Israel's counteroffensive continues in Gaza Strip, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu declared on Wednesday that his country would continue its war against Hamas in Gaza with or without international support. Moreover, the Israeli Prime Minister in a radio message also reiterated that nothing could stop his country from continuing the counteroffensive until it achieves victory against a militant group.
Of the soldiers, we are continuing until the end, until victory, until Hamas is annihilated. Let there be no doubt about this. This is important. It is a message I want to convey to each and every soldier over there. Nothing will stop us. We will go to the end, to the victory, no less than that.
The U.S. House of Representatives voted to officially open an impeachment investigation into President Joe Biden as Republicans unite behind the effort, even as Democrats say they are yet to find any evidence of wrongdoing. The Republicans-led House voted 221 to 212 in a party-line vote to open the investigation. The vote came hours after Hunter Biden declined a closed-door call to testify. The White House has dismissed the investigation as factless and politically motivated. Biden gears up for a potential rematch with his Republican opponent Donald Trump in the 2024 presidential election. Trump, who is the first U.S. president ever impeached twice, calls the investigation politically motivated. The Indian stock market sparked an early Santa Claus rally. The dovish tone of the US Fed sparked a rally in global markets. BSE, Sensex, NSE, Nifty jumped fresh record highs, rising over 1% each. The strong surge in the benchmark index came amid gains in banking, IT stocks and index heavyweight Reliance. Nifty IT pack surged nearly 3%, tracking gains in Nasdaq and hopes of Fed rate cuts. The big takeaways from the Fed message is that the tightening cycle is over and 3 rate cuts are possible in 2024. The market expects 4, and the record-breaking rally in the Dow will send many index to new records, and the crash in the US 10 market yield to 4% will trigger large capital flows into Asian economy, and the main beneficiaries will be the large caps, particularly the fairly valued large caps in banking and IT too seems to attract a lot of positive buying. Joining us for more is Archit Singhal, portfolio manager there and at Centrum Broking, joining us this afternoon. Good afternoon, Archit. Welcome. How does one see this particular, bull run that the market is seeing? It seems the markets are high on some kind of push that no one expected to come in this festive season.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me. So yeah, we are in good times. You can say Nifty has gone up from 18,800 levels in the month of October, and now we are above 21,000. And as you rightly mentioned, US Fed in the meeting yesterday paused for the third time, and they have indicated 3 rate cuts for 2024. So that bodes well. And if you look at overall growth-wise, also Indian companies are doing very well. Nifty profits growth have been 75 to 80% over the last 3 years, which is a CAGR of 20% plus. And even in FY24, we are looking at 20% plus growth. I think we should be doing a mid-teens growth in FY25 also. So growth perspective, things remain very good. In terms of valuations, large caps, even though valuations are above 10-year averages, but they are still reasonable. We are trading at 19 times forward PE on Nifty, which is, you can say, similar to what it was pre-COVID, and we are still 20% down in terms of valuations from October 2021 highs.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, outlook is positive. Indian economy is doing well, but yeah, investors also need to be selective in terms of stock picking at this stage. Maybe look at companies growing well and having reasonable valuations.
Okay. Arjit, also put this into perspective for us. The 10-year yield, that's crashed to 4%. So there is a lot of money that's going to be pumped into other markets. Looking at what's the status of China, does India stand, majorly to gain from the money that's going to be diverted from the US markets?
Absolutely. So if you look at the overall perspective, so India, one, is a growth economy. The country as a whole can grow in, you can say, double digit in terms of nominal GDP growth. And FIs actually were sellers in year 2022. So I think large sums of FI buying is yet to happen. And when also there'll be most likely political stability in the country, I think, yeah, FI buying is one of the themes we would be looking at going forward. And if FIs turn buyers, their favorite sectors, financials, which is still at a reasonable valuation, should also see some kind of, you can say, positive up move.
Okay, we'll leave it there. Archit Singhal there joining us from Centrum Broking, giving a positive outlook to the new year ahead, and great times there for people in the markets and those following it.
Thanks for inviting me, and Happy New Year to all your viewers.
Happy New Year.
Thank you.
Well, Indian economy records a major boost as the GDP surprised positively to grow by growing a robust 7.6% after a 7.8% locked in the first quarter. India's Purchasing Managers Index for manufacturing rose to 56 in November, up from 55.5 in October. According to a private survey record, India's manufacturing activities increased in November from an 8-month low recorded the preceding month on robust demand. Moreover, the input cost inflation also slipped to a 40-month low, and the latest survey results come a day after the data showed that the Indian economy grew at an impressive rate of 7.6% in the second quarter. Federal Reserve on Wednesday signaled that its interest rate hike policy on the last 2 years is at its end. Fed Chief Jerome Powell in his press conference said that the bank sees lower borrowing cost in 2024, and that could have a positive impact. And also the rate cuts that you're talking about could see a pause in 2024. So of the 4 cuts that we have seen over the years, it could now be cut to 3. Shifting focus to sports updates now. Starting first up with the Junior Hockey World Cup semi-finals. India take on Germany in the semi-finals of the Hockey Men's Junior World Cup in Kuala Lumpur today. It's going to be a contest where it's do or die. India qualified for the Final Four with a thrilling 4-3 win over the Netherlands in the quarterfinals. Captain Uttam Singh scoring that all-important penalty corner in the 57th minute to seal the win. The Dutch had the Indians on the mat, but Indians played brilliant hockey in the last 120 minutes to take the match home and seal their berth in the semi-finals. This particular match is going to start at 3:30 p.m. and Germany holds the record. The two teams between them have 7 Junior World Cups between them. Germany holds the record for the maximum Junior World Cup wins. They have 5 World Cup titles against their name. Well, that's all in this edition of DD India Live, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. You can connect with us on Facebook, X, Twitter, Instagram, and also visit our website. That's ddindia.co.in. We're going to be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I am Anil Thomas from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD